Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/surviving infidelity, where OP's wife is one hell of a crazy lady. Let's begin. Karma came for supper and stayed for dessert. Posted by Reddit user The Old Switcheroo.
So I don't think I've ever made a post on this forum, mostly tossed my own 2 cents here and there, but I felt this deserved its own post. Feel free to keep reading if you want to hear my story, and if you've ever wondered if karma is a thing and if our cheating spouses actually ever change. TLDR at the bottom, as this is turning out longer than I expected. So as a quick little background, my spouse had an affair 6 years ago with the husband of my, at the time, coworker. We had all become close friends and partied a lot together. The discovery of the affair and my wayward spouse's realization that her affair partner wasn't going to leave his wife threw her into a spiral. Ran away from our home, left me grief-stricken, with 2 kids, 7 and 4 at the time, and no way to contact her. Well, a week later she calls me at 5 a.m. crying and begging me to come get her. I do. I had gone on stress leave from work at this time. I end up at a seedy motel picking her up where she had holed up for the week, sleeping with every drug dealer she knew to feed her cocaine habit. This was a new issue. She was a mess. I get her home and call my friend who is a nurse to come and check on her. She's in the throes of drug-induced psychosis, gotta get her to the emergency room and get her detoxed. I leave my kids with family, thank God we had just moved to a town to be close to them, get her to the hospital and stay next to her side for close to 4 days while she's detoxing. I don't know if I even felt a single feeling during this period. Finally get her home, and she basically spent 3 weeks in bed. I'm pretty much a zombie, doing my best to just make sure the kids are fed and to school and back. Unbeknownst to me, she's still in active communication with her affair partner at this time, through of all things, the Pinterest messaging system. Anyway, her family convinces her she needs to go to rehab, but of course, it can't be any rehab. She decides on a 20 grand a month facility. I refuse to pay that, so she conned her grandmother to do it. She ends up there, 1.5 weeks in, she calls me and says she wants a divorce because she has learned that all her actions are my fault. So okay, I'll tell the kids who are already losing their minds that mom isn't coming back. Well, she gets discharged, realizes being on her own is tough, and begs me to come back and that we can fix things. Me looking at 16 years of marriage with someone I truly loved and have 2 beautiful children with decides, yeah, let's try. I convinced myself it was the drugs that enabled all this behavior, and now that she's clean, I'll have my wife and mother of my children back. Looking back, this was the one thing I would have done differently. Fast forward 18 months of trying to reconcile. She refuses to put any work into and figures that because I was willing to work on our marriage, that meant that all was forgiven and water under the bridge. As every betrayed spouse knows, that's not how this works. At the 18-month mark, I give up and ask her to leave. She easily agrees. Well, within a week of her moving out, I get a message from her old affair partner's wife that they are communicating again and that he just told her he's leaving her. While they are all on a family vacation in Jamaica no less. So there's marriage number 2 destroyed. I also get to find out that they have been communicating for the length of our reconciliation period. That was a gut punch. They move in together immediately, and just like that, my children have a stepdad and his son has a stepmom. Abrupt and jarring, don't even begin to describe what it was for all of us. Present time, 4 years later, and the crux of post. Their relationship has imploded. It was always toxic, he had anger issues, she wants everything her own way, cops would get involved, which would then get me involved because of the kids. Silver lining, the majority of it was never around my kids, they say a few arguments, but that's it. She's now kicked him out because she found out he was seeing some 23-year-old girl behind her back. But not to be outdone, she'd been sleeping with his best friend and is now trying to date him. This of course has thrown him right off the ledge and she's now got a restraining order against him. The cops being called multiple times to her new man's house has caused him to be evicted. I get to sit and watch this all and just shake my head. I'm far enough along that I'm not shouting with glee over this, but I will admit to some petty giddiness. I'm safe and happy, my kids are safe and happy, and the consequences of 6 years of shitty decisions are coming home to roost. TLDR. Cheaters do not change. And in some circumstances, they just get worse. On the plus side, karma is real. Sometimes it just takes a long time to get to them.
Holy shitballs. Wow. Your wife just about ticked every box on the crazy meter scale. You are a survivor, OP. I respect all the things you went through, and I'm very sorry that this happened to you. I mean, leaving the husband is one thing, but ditching the kids? Only the shittiest type of people do that. If it was me, I wouldn't even consider picking her up from that hotel. But hey, I won't be a complete heartless asshole. I'll still call 911 so they can check on her. But that's pretty much it. Honestly, OP, the sad reality is your kids know more than they let on. If you know, then they know, possibly even more. Her toxic behavior will affect your kids in their own relationships in the future, and you will have to be the one to help them pick up the pieces because she's a toxic mess. It's not really fair for the kids because her behavior will cause a lifetime of insecurities in your kids. That's just how much of a piece of shit your ex-wife is. And she still doesn't make any sort of effort to change and immediately jumps into another toxic relationship. Do your best to help your kids see that their mother isn't a healthy person to be around. It's a difficult lesson for a kid to learn. Also, therapy would help. I think you and your kids need that. You guys went through a lot. Now, for today's second story. Am I over the girlfriend? Posted by Reddit user ChillDaddyChill94.
So, I just broke up with my girlfriend after 8 years of dating. She is 31, and I am 28. We were together for the first year, but ever since year 1, it has been long distance, meeting like twice a month for 5 years, then meeting like every 4 to 5 months. The first year was the best year of my life. She was my first girlfriend when I was 20 years old. I enlisted in the military at the age of 21. Ever since, I have been away pretty much the whole time. She managed to have an affair within less than a year after going to basic training. It lasted for at least 3 years with some breaks in between for them, I guess. It poisoned everything between us. I decided to give her a second chance after and tried hard to make it work as she swore things were over between them. But I could never forget this type of betrayal. I literally caught them fucking when I showed up as a surprise at her place on our second-year anniversary. It ruined me. It took years for me to cope with that pain, and I thought I could somehow forget it. But I just cannot. As we got older, she started pushing me towards marriage, and she proposed that she would move in with me if I married her. My stupid ass actually thought about it, so I bought a ring. Then she told me she was going abroad for Christmas when I wanted to propose, so I just returned the ring and immediately wanted to break up. She somehow had me by my balls and traveled out to see me twice this year. I was just fully honest with her both times and told her I was not sure anymore after all the drama, also told her about the returned ring. Ever since I told her I was committed to marry her back in December, she was blackmailing me to marry her or she would leave me. I gave in for a little bit, but then started realizing things. I got a new job and I met a coworker who I had a huge crush on. Then it became obvious to me that things have not worked out between me and my girlfriend anymore, and there was no point pursuing it anymore. So, I told her everything. I told her about the crush, I told her that I want to break up. And do not get me wrong. The crush has a family, 3 kids and a husband. So obviously, I did not think to ruin their marriage, it just opened my eyes. It showed me how fucked up everything was in my current life. I did start to develop feelings for this coworker, but will not act on them for good reasons. I am just grateful for her coming into my life at a crucial moment, opening my eyes before I get myself stuck in something I would regret later in my life. Sure, it would be fucking nice to have a good family and be around my loved ones, but I just feel like I have not lived yet and would like to find my real other half. My girlfriend was my best friend, but she betrayed me for years. That is not something I can forget or forgive easily. So, it's just me now. She won't leave me alone. She keeps finding ways to contact me, but I got to the point where I do not even really care anymore to hear about her. Am I over her by now pretty much?
Honestly, OP, what the hell did you think would happen if you only see someone twice a year? 5 years is a long time to be long distance. Especially at that age. She was probably cheating on you most of the time. Also, respect for not going after your coworker who you said is married. You got me in the first half, not gonna lie. But seriously, hang in there, dude. There are so many women out there who are loyal, who will love you back, and willing to have a good life with you. I'm glad that you dodged that bullet. She really did work hard. I'll give her that. She really worked hard for her retirement plan, aka you. But it looks like you're off the hook, OP. It's like you're not bothered anymore, but you still have some soft spots in your heart for her though. And that's understandable. Just be very careful, OP. Be very careful that you don't fall back into a relapse because she's still hitting you up after what she did to you. Nah, dude. You deserve to be happy. Just like how I will be happy if you consider donating to me, your host, PattSun. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my YouTube channel for you to watch absolutely free. So consider clicking that super thanks just below the video title, or you can use my PayPal in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.